Funky Politics.
One more word to you Democrats. I would not hesitate to preface the president always as the impeached Donald J. Trump.
Impotus?
I mean, that's what he is.
Impeached
That's the
impotus.
stain he will have to wear.
Impotus.
Impeach
Impotus.
Trump. I would call him impeach Trump. IT. He's the it.
Yeah.
He's it. Here comes the it, y'all.
Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of The Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. I am DC, sitting here at this table, this gaggle of folk here, you know. Tanya Weathersby, world-renowned, University of Florida, I tell you, journalism school, fellow, I mean, just gonna call it everything. Tanya Weathersby with the commercial appeal. Hey, Tanya, how are you?
I am doing fabulously, and you?
I'm doing well. I love the red jacket.
Hey.
And you know what? And on the side, we have, it's almost like a plate of chitlins with some slaw. On the slide, we got Doc Ward.
Did you just try to slick call me some slaw? Did you try to slick call me some slaw?
Would you like that?
Did you try to slick call me some slaw?
Would you like that?
Nah, I mean, you gonna start out on the wrong foot. Now it's bad because you only got one foot. So we need to get this thing in check right now.
I'm gonna call HR you, man, about that one foot thing.
Look,
man.
I ain't never been the slaw. I'm the doc. I lay down the law. If you're gonna call me a plate, I'm gonna be every spare rib, collard green, piece of corn, and everything else, and I'll leave that slaw to the motherfuckers on the other side. I'm always greater than the haters right here on Funky Politics.
Always great.
Yeah, and I'm going to take this time right now.
Yes.
To congratulate you,
Yes.
Ms. Weathersby. Because I understand that congratulations are in order for you for being just such a great person.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
I take it back.
Well, thank you.
There's going to be some breaking news.
Congratulate me because I'm the doc.
Yeah.
Doc is here, Tanya. But let's get right into the show. Into the show, guys.
What are we talking about?
I want to talk about.
Congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yo,
hey.
Man, did you see that game?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't sound very excited.
It was predictable, man. It was predictable.
Well, I don't know.
That was some kind
It
of
was
game.
predictable. I never thought San Francisco was going to win.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the halftime show.
That was predictable too.
So what was the cool part about the halftime show? Was it the piece where Jay-Z,
Jello,
Beyonce, and Blue Eye, they were sitting down and
Blue Ivy.
Blue Eye.
Blue Ivy, Blue Eye.
Blue Ivy.
Somebody told me a child name was Blue Eye. I was
Blue
like, who
Ivy.
named a child Blue Eye? Lord have mercy. But anyway, so
Toni Morrison.
the bluest eye.
Yeah.
So you have here a gentleman who says that, hey, no, we were watching this star get ready to sing the national anthem, and we were into this musician, and we forgot to stand. You forgot to stand during the national anthem, or were you protesting? He said, no, we weren't protesting. No, we were just into.
Yeah.
Not
man.
me. Oh, no, not me,
No,
boss.
you.
No, you ain't going to never find me protesting. No,
I won't
sir.
be protesting.
No,
not-
sir. I love America.
I love Mr. Goodell.
Say,
No,
can you see?
No, Mr. Goodell.
Come on, y'all. Was that not a cop out? Come on, Tanya.
A big cop out. I mean, a cop out of all
All cop-outs,
cop-outs, of all cop outs, like a redwood tree size cop out. I don't know.
It was
What you say?
the robo cop out.
Cop out. I
That's
don't
a big
know.
cop out there.
Cop out. Just I mean, you're a billionaire, dude. You know, just say what
Call
you
it
gotta
what-
say. What are
man.
they gonna do to you? Beat you up?
Man, what?
Yeah, I mean,
They're not going to let you do the next halftime
time
show in
show?
Tampa
Yeah,
next
in
year?
Tampa,
Whatever.
yeah.
Hey, Doc, check this out. Your favorite, Shakira and J-Lo.
No. Shake Kira.
Oh, her name Shakira.
Shake Kira.
Shake Kira.
What's Shakira be from? What's she be
Shake
from?
Kira. Jello. What about it? What about it?
Well, did you enjoy that? I mean, it was a little bit risque to me. And I was clutching my pearls the whole time thinking, oh, my God, they're just shaking all that stuff. I can't see it.
I don't see how anybody that lives in the MTV generation or the BET generation or the BET After Dark generation could have looked at that Super Bowl and said, this was anyway,
was
R-rated or whatever.
risque.
It was
Yeah.
not.
I don't
it
see-
was
I
two
don't-
women
Yeah.
one of true Latin descent, the other, well, both of them are Latin
That's
descent.
it, yeah.
Doing things
Colombia
that were
and Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doing things that were, I would say indigenous, but just particular to
Yeah.
that's their brand.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
culture. That's what they do. That's what
That's
they've been
from
doing their
that
entire career.
Afro-Latin, those
Right.
Afro-Latin roots. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell you something else too. Nobody who's not a hypocrite and but their eyes could look at that and be appalled when they look at these NFL cheerleaders every game. You know, look at what the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders have
how
on.
dare you speak of those?
Look
Forget
at
about
them.
that.
Look at them when they do those kicks and do those little tiny shorts.
mercy.
You
Well,
can
that
see
could be the
almost
Rockettes,
everything.
too.
Yeah. I mean, if we gonna let's keep it real here. If we're gonna talk about what they're doing and shaking and all that stuff, let's keep it real.
Well, I
Look
will
at those
unclutch
skimpy
my
outfits
pearls.
they
But did
have
you
on.
all see?
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
the
when you
halftime girls,
when you're
have
watching Shakira, who I think is great, and J Lo, who was marvelous on the pole at 50, yay for you, girl.
Oh my
I
Lord.
admire the physicality of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean that in the most artistic way. I mean, women are going to pole dancing.
that's true.
Every day. One's
Yeah.
probably the group of women are having pole
Yeah.
dancing class right now while we're on Kudzukian broadcasting Funky Politics, powered by Kudzukian. But at any rate, though,
I've seen
did
those
you see-
classes
did-
before.
Did
It's
you?
usually in a building in a seedy part of town. Is that where they hold those classes?
No, that's the club. But anyway,
That's
my bad.
actual club.
but did you
Yeah.
see the interpolation of the Cuban and American flag that went on during the
Oh.
halftime?
Yeah.
Did anybody
Yeah.
watch that? Anybody
No,
see
I
it?
saw it.
You saw it.
I saw it.
See,
It was
everybody's so
fabulous.
busy looking and shaking, you ain't looking at what's
And
really
did
going
you
on.
see? And did you see the political
Right.
president parts of it? Besides the Cuban and the
Right.
Puerto Rican flag, you also had the display of the kids in the cages.
Absolutely. There
I mean,
was several statements being made
yeah.
during that halftime
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
while everybody's talking about whether or not it was a family halftime
That's what was
show.
in them cages,
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, you have to look at that. Because all of that
Speaking-
was
yeah.
it was a
Speaking
great
of-
it was a
yeah.
great show.
Speaking of the kids in cages, there was a huge meeting in D.C. the other day in the House of Representatives, and the person who put those kids in cages, he showed up to talk about all of the great things he's done over the last 3 years. And you would think this guy is the president of the world.
Huge meeting. What are you
I
talking
think they
about?
call it the State of the Union.
Oh,
I think it's-
you're
Well,
comparing.
it was a cross between a State of the Union and a hell of a campaign address.
No, it wasn't.
This was a rally.
It was
I
a
mean,
2-hour infomercial. That's what it
this
was.
guy-
It was a 2-hour infomercial in
He
which
talked about
Yeah,
everything from here to there, and no major policy initiatives going forward. He did lie though and said that he is for what? He's for patient protections, right?
And
Pre-existing
pre-existing
conditions. No pre-existing
We're
condition
for that,
protection
but
for
now
that.
you got
But your Justice
you got a
Department
suit right now
yeah.
before the
Yeah.
before the I think one of the circuits down there,
Right.
Yeah.
in New Orleans, I think.
Right.
And
New
so-
Orleans, yeah.
And so, come on, man, what you
But the judge
you're
wants to
lying
throw out
these
the
folks.
Fifth
whole
Circuit.
wants to throw out the whole ACA because he says it can't stand without the requirement for the that people pay into it.
Sure.
You know, that everybody pay into it. You know, it can't stand without that requirement. And he says because of that, the whole law can't stand around it. And the Justice Department has signed off on that, which means if the Supreme Court agrees, then the ACA with pre-existing conditions and all of that goes down.
Goes away.
Yeah, but it was like an infomercial. You know, all that time it was full of lies. Let's just say with and
I was waiting for him to
gaslighting.
shout me out.
And
DC, Kudzukian, well, yeah, boy, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna just pop out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, here I is, sir. Here I is. He does. So here I is, Doc.
A lot of gaslighting.
Not one I've ever heard before.
And the saddest part of that to
I'm
me
just saying, I've
was
never
how,
heard
you know, let's just be honest, how he used a lot of black folk there as props. You know, and then you know, I mean, and then he goes and honors Rush Limbaugh when you got 100-year-old Tuskegee airman there who should have gotten the Medal of Freedom.
Can you imagine that? Rush Limbaugh.
We're in a parallel universe.
Rush Limbaugh gets the Presidential
Yeah.
Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
That's been given to people like John Paul
Yeah.
II, Maya Angelou, people like
Rosa
this.
Parks.
Rosa
Elie
Parks.
Wiesel. I mean, all of these people, and now all of
Benjamin
a
Hooks.
sudden, you've been put in there and you have sullied, basically, if you ask me. I don't see anything that he has done.
Yeah.
Now, hey, look, I want him to beat his battle with cancer. I don't want anybody to die of that
Yeah,
dreaded
that's
disease,
horrible.
right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'll say this.
That shouldn't even be part of the equation, though.
Well,
I mean,
but
that's not even part of the
that
equation.
was a part of his equation, though.
That's the part of the equation that prevents you from having the real statement about Rush Limbaugh. But I'm going to extricate him from his cancer because guess what? People that have done evil upon this world have had diseases. So I'm not going to sit around a lot of time trying to have
Everybody
sympathy for
dies.
that. But this
Yeah.
is a gentleman here, and that has
Call it like it
perpetuated racial inequality. He had an opportunity to be on ESPN years ago and finally mainstream his character. What was the first story that he did on ESPN? He was on the
Affirmative
sports show.
action
He talked about
yeah,
Donovan McNabb and how Donovan McNabb was
yeah,
not a good quarterback and how people
some affirmative action
were just
was going
promoting
on.
him because he was black. Why in the world, of all the things you could have talked about that were going on in the NFL at that time, did you have to reach for the race card? Because that's where you live. That's where you stoke your fires. And those are the people
Are you saying
whose
he's a
mind
bigot?
you affect.
Is he a bigot?
Well, I don't know if he's a bigot, but I think the bigots think he's big, just like Andrew. Like Andrew.
So you're saying that the National Bigot Association sends him mail every other day?
Every other day.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I'm not going to get involved with his health condition because we all know how we feel about that. But I feel more strongly about what he's perpetuated and what his legacy will be, whether he lives to tomorrow or to the next 50 years from now, what his legacy will be in trying to make the contribution to society to advance our republic, which is what the Presidential Medal of Freedom is all about.
HR 3.
Y'all almost wonder if they could rescind, the next president could rescind it.
What they would essentially do is they'll basically say that we're going to have a new award called Presidential Spirit Award, and all recipients from the previous award are okay, but we nullify that one now. We're going to retire that one. We're going to do something else. I mean, that's what you would have to do.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, now I'll make this short and simple, there was a hodgepodge of contradictions in this speech.
Yeah.
There was celebration of racial equality with Tuskegee Airmen. Then you give a Presidential Medal of Freedom to Rush Limbaugh, and you let the First Lady tag him like she's Vanna White or somebody.
Weird.
You know, you have all the stuff about
Weird.
American exceptionalism, and then you vilify Hispanics at the border as if they've been, the most evil people in the world. But it shows the complex and ridiculous thinking of how our president does what he does. However, he's experiencing one of his best weeks ever with Iowa, with the impeachment, and his prospective incumbency. And that's what we're going to talk about when we come back on Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network.
Politics is what we do. We just make it funky.
Here on Inside 901, we will unpack the vision of Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner and the various divisions of the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
We have a racial profiling policy at the Sheriff's Office. We adhere to it. We expect our officers to adhere to it.
Uniform patrols that provide police services to unincorporated Shelby County.
Inside 901.
Funky Politics on the Kudzukian Network. I am DC, sitting here along with my compadres. Tanya Weathersby, columnist with the Commercial Appeal newspaper. Tanya, how are you?
I am fine.
I'm digging the red jacket. I'm just loving the red jacket. I can't say nothing about the red jacket.
Red has always been the black for me.
Oh, I like that. Doc Ward, I'm just really digging the fact that you're here today. Hi, Doc Ward.
You called me Slaughter a minute ago. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell.
But I did put you on the plate of chitlins.
I can't tell. I don't eat chitlins. But this, speaking of funk, this show is funky as some chitlins.
Did nobody clean
Turnip
right?
green.
Did nobody clean right?
Yeah. You got what say? Get the membrane out. I don't know nothing about chitlins.
God.
I don't know nothing about no chitlins.
Lord, this show is funky than a chitlin that you left the membranes in and been cooking for 5 hours in the house. And everybody gone. Don't nobody want to eat. Hey, let's get right into this thing, guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Hey, look. Let's talk about the eyes habit.
Yep.
Iowa. Mm-hmm. The debacle is what some are calling it, right?
Debacle.
I mean, that's one word.
Wow. The Iowa flood.
Should never go first again, ever.
I mean, my question is, with all of the, and I can understand, they wanted to go to something that would provide more information because they're trying to dispel the fact that this one state that goes first in all of the presidential primaries and caucuses is about 93% white, right? Which is okay.
Yes, but it's progressive thinking. Remember, I told you good things come out of Iowa. The National Bar Association was founded at Iowa State University.
Oh, and I had one of my single letter chapters was founded in Iowa Kappa Alpha Psi. So Iowa has had some, but
there is a respect for cultural diversity.
But we could only keep about 15 guys on the campus at one time, and they would not let many more than that on. But as I'm saying,
but on the Iowa campus, that's probably about 1/4 of the population.
That's all they had.
The Hawkeye State. Yeah, but the Hawkeye State, but you did have your eye on the prize, Iowa.
So let's talk about these caucuses, y'all. The Iowa Caucus is a piece where the political parties in Iowa, they get together. They've been doing this since back in the 1800s.
Right.
But before 1907, all parties did this. And caucusing is not going to the booth where you go on primary day like in Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, and you push a button. This is where you go meet with neighbors, friends, people in your precinct, and you go to a gym or wherever, church or whatever, and y'all get together and decide, hey, Everybody for Biden, you stand over here. Everybody for Buttigieg, you stand over here. Everybody for Elizabeth Warren, God help me, whoever those people are, you
Everybody
stand
for Tulsi Gabbard, sit over there.
Everybody for Tulsi
Andrew
Gabbard,
Yang.
you stand
The parking lot.
Andrew Yang, go sit in the car. We'll talk to you later.
No, you can all fit in the car.
So what happens is you get all of these different voices, and to be honest with you, it really does sound like representative politics.
Yeah,
It is supposed to
Think
it represents the sociology of elections,
Yes.
of our politics.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
goes into our political process? What makes us think the way we do? Because everyone stands behind their candidate.
Yeah.
And if the candidate gets disqualified because they don't get enough qualifying votes, I think that's 15%.
Sure. Yeah.
Then those 15%, those people are free to go
To go to
support
somebody
another
else.
candidate.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's the way we kind of think about
On
things.
the same day of
And
the
it says-
election.
and
That's just a microcosm of what you're doing now.
They call it the viability.
Right,
test.
right.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing now. Because if you supported Kamala Harris up until now, you're a free agent. She's out of it. You got to figure out who else you're going to support.
Yeah.
So it represents the sociology of politics. And that's why this Iowa caucus has been so prominent up until 2020. Take us forward. What happened?
So they have over 1,774 voting precincts in Iowa, right? And so my issue is this: you've got all of these places now. The state Democratic Party decided they were going to institute this app, use an app,
Computer application.
a computer application,
Yeah.
so you can report your numbers. Now, I don't know the difference between that and what the Election Commission does right now, which is basically you upload the information into a hard drive and you send information.
Well,
up to the cloud.
remember, these are second and third choices now. So
Yeah.
the ability, it becomes a little more technical with them.
Exactly. And so what they did was there was some problems with people possibly trying to game the system from the outside. Did y'all read about that?
Possibly.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
folks
yeah.
were
Calling in. You
Yeah.
had some 4chan, which is pretty much a white supremacist group, that was calling in for Trump and jamming up the hotlines.
Right.
And everything, which threw things off quite a bit. And actually, that actually is a preview of what might happen in the elections coming up. You know, we need to really, really be on top of that because it seems like they're going to try to do things like that. So I'm
Right.
glad to see a picture of that kind of chicanery early on. Thank you, 4chan.
But what essentially has
Yeah.
happened, though, but here's the thing that
Okay.
essentially has happened, and you know this, is that now you've got an election that has not been resolved.
Yeah.
And it went to day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4.
It's still not
and
resolved.
It's still
Yeah.
not resolved.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to be
By
resolved.
the time this
By
show's
the time
out.
this show comes out, if it's still going to be resolved.
No, because the DNC chair just said he wants the entire Democratic Party for Iowa to re-canvass your numbers. He wants you to go back and get it right.
So two things have
Yeah,
happened.
because we got to know who
So
won it.
So
Yeah,
two things
who
have
won
happened.
it.
Voter confidence now is kicked directly in the ass because
Sure.
you already had going
Yeah.
into this.
Yeah.
What do we have? We just got through with an impeachment trial of a president that was supposed to be influencing an election by getting another country to make a statement about a candidate. We've already gone through 2016 where it has been made clear by the NSA and other agencies that Russia interfered in our election. We already know that there's been election interference, just like this is Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. And we're still going forward now with Iowa, 5-6 days to make a determination on the candidate. That's something that's done in second, third world countries where you know who's going to be the winner of the election 5 weeks, 5 years before the election's held.
Oh, apparently for Iowa.
Yeah.
But now in
Particularly
Iowa. So that's the first thing. The second thing is for the candidates that prevailed victorious seemingly, and those would be Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders, it sort of nullifies their victories because their victories are mired up in all
Yeah.
of this miscalculation
Got an
and
asterisk behind
miscalculation.
it. Yeah.
So
Asterisk,
in
yeah.
essence, the whole thing is, as a lot of people have stated, is just totally invalidated. The Democrats are still without a leader, an elected leader, in terms of a front runner, rather, going into the election. So that's another few weeks that we have to spin our wheels. Candidates have to go beat each other up, and which makes the incumbency of Donald
Well, let me
Trump.
just
we'll
say
talk about
this,
later,
though.
much better.
A lot of the problem, from what I'm reading, had to do with this app that they were using.
Well, sure.
That didn't, which to me should have us revive this whole question about how we use technology.
Right.
I'm of the opinion that we need to go back to paper ballots and paper everything.
Well, there's a paper
Because,
backup for this, I understand.
Oh, it's a
That's what
paper
they count.
backup?
I think there's
Okay.
a paper backup because I think that's what they were counting.
I wouldn't bother with stuff like that right now. Things too crucial with apps and testing. If you're going to do that, you got to tested
But
often
supposedly
and
they
early.
beta tested this thing several times, and it flew with flying colors. And they didn't want to reveal that they were using this piece of technology until the last minute because they were afraid of the app being
Throw it all away.
attacked. But guess
I
what
see
happened?
what they did. Throw it all
was
away.
attacked anyway. And so I think sometimes, Tanya, I think to some respect you're right.
Throw it all
Have we
away.
gotten so dependent on technology that we can't live without
Throw it all
having an
away.
instant
Go back to
answer?
paper
But remember,
and paper.
we had the Chads before,
Yeah, we had
and
the
those were
hanging
paper
Chads.
ballots from your home state.
Yeah, from my home state.
And so you're going to have issues with that. Here's the thing that we have to do with these elections. And the first thing we have to understand is that there's going to be two things. There's going to be voter fraud in every election to some percentage. There's going to be someone, if you're going to use computer for anything, because at some point in time, these election results are going to be uploaded to a computer. So regardless of whether you do paper ballots or not, the results, the tabulations, are going to be uploaded to some type of computerized device. Someone's going to tamper with it somewhere along the way. So you've got to put your safeguards in place there. And even with the safeguards, it's going to be an issue. But the second thing is, there's going to be voter incompetence. Not voter incompetence in terms of the voter, but in terms of the people that are doing work. And not that they're not smart people, but when you try to put together a system that millions of people are going to be using, and they may use them millions of different ways, you're going to have that. So I just believe that all these election commissions throughout the country need to get together and just put all of the things that they're experiencing on the table, prioritize what issues are, and make the appropriate measures to safeguard.
You think about a universal system? Are you saying a universal system?
I'm saying a universal system that needs to be put in place for these elections. I mean, we have enough problems with the fact that the popular vote doesn't determine the president anyway. So you surely don't want to have it compromised if we know a president can win with less than 51%.
Let me throw this out there. I want to throw some numbers out there to you guys.
Go ahead.
With 97% of the precincts reporting up to this point, Mayor Pete is at 550 SDEs. Bernie Sanders is at 547 SDEs. Elizabeth Warren, 381 SDEs. And, of course, our good friend, who has not called in yet, we're waiting on him, and that's Joseph Robinette Biden, 331. And so I think what
Does he know that?
No, he doesn't know it yet. he doesn't know. Joe called.
Anybody told him yet?
Yeah.
Mr. Joe called. No, anyway, so what you have is you've got a person in terms of Bernie Sanders, and there's only 3% reporting that's outstanding.
Right.
And Bernie is saying he is the winner of the Iowa Caucus. But if you won by 5,
but you know why,
is it a decisive win?
But the reason why he's saying is because he's waiting on absentee ballots to come in that overwhelmingly, I
think
understand.
we'll go for Bernie.
I understand that's the case, is that they're overwhelmingly.
And let me throw another thing out there.
Yeah.
What about all of these staff members that went into Iowa that's been there now, on the ground, some for a year and a half? Yeah, some for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And put all of this work into it to come out on that night and say, I'm sorry, we don't have an answer for you. I worked all my days the last 18 months to get to this one day.
It's a bigger disaster for the Democratic Party.
It was over $1 billion invested in Iowa. I don't think ever again. I just don't think ever again it will happen.
Never
a
let
big
them go
disaster
first
for the
again.
Democratic
I think in
Party.
4 years you will see
Huge.
You will see another state come around, maybe something like an Illinois, or maybe possibly somewhere. I'd go with Ohio. I mean, somewhere that has a population that looks like this damn country, y'all.
And keep in mind too, we got two different systems. The caucus system favors folk like Bernie Sanders, but then the typically, and then the super delegates favor people like
Joe Biden.
Super delegates. Yeah. So we do have some reform to do. I don't think we can do it in this cycle. It should have been done a long time ago.
And certainly not on this show.
Not on this show. Not on this cycle. But the chief problem with Iowa is what we talked about earlier. 1800. This system started in 1800. Yeah. The country has changed. The makeup of the country has changed. So many things have changed. That is an ancient process to be relying on right now when you got this huge demographic change in the country, especially if it's supposed to be predictive, of what the outcome is ultimately going to be in a country, where you have that's much, 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 much more diverse, as opposed to a time when most of us were still slaves.
One universal
Black people were slaves.
One universal primary, one election day, winner take all. Don't play around with it.
Yeah.
Don't play around
Here
with
we go, guys. We'll be right back with more thoughts from Doc Ward and Tanya Weathersby right here on Funky Politics.
My great-great-grandfather, one of the first black politicians in Mississippi. He ran for the border.
We're gonna bump you right on up. 3.
The power of sisterhood is very important. So check on your strong friend, call your sister friend.
B.
That's what I love about sisterhood. Like, there is no airs. I don't have to put on for you all.
C.
Wherever I am, that's where you all are. So I constantly have pictures. I'm calling, I'm texting, I'm sending stuff. I'm trying to keep connected.
3 black chicks on the Kudzukian Network.
Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. I am DC, sitting here alone. Man, I'm not alone. I'm at the table.
Hey.
I'm at the big folk table.
You'll never walk alone when you roll with
never
me
walk alone.
and Tanya.
Yeah.
I
You'll
like
never
that.
walk alone.
I thought you were about to sing.
Yeah.
Nah, I let her sing. I let her sing.
Nah.
I'm the genuine article, but I don't sing. Though.
You don't say, praise the Lord. You
Like
don't sing.
that's what
'Cause
Jay-Z.
your dad is a singer. You didn't get that, though, did you?
I'm not gonna sing today.
You're not gonna sing? Okay.
I quit the church
Not
choir
today.
because I couldn't sing.
Did you quit the church choir? Or the church choir quit you?
Tanya Wellsby, Doc Ward, we're sitting here, y'all, chopping it up. We're talking about everything funky, and it's really funky up in here right now. Ooh, it's so funky up in here, done got stanky.
Funky had some cha-cha in the making.
Lord have mercy.
That cha-cha good, but when they started making it, boy, you like,
Ooh,
what is this concoction?
It smelled like chitlin. What is me and chitlin? Anyway, hey, let's talk about this thing here. I want to talk about the impeachment trial. Is it okay? Can I?
It's over now.
Oh.
And
It's over with.
It's over with.
Yeah,
man.
pretty much.
It just started, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I must be living at the wrong trial. I'm looking at the Harvey Weinstein
Yeah.
trial. That's another trial.
Wrong one.
I thought it was the same guy, but anyway, so it's a different guy.
one.
Hope
Yeah.
you're not looking at the anyhow.
I looked at his pictures. I said, Donald Trump. No, this is Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein.
Still potentially sexual offender. Different trial.
Different
How
trial.
dare you call our president a sexual offender, sir? He's never been convicted of any of that. Or,
I was talking about,
accused.
I was talking about Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, okay. I'll go with that. So the trial is concluded, and the president at the National Prayer Breakfast decided to bring in the WAPO, which is the Washington Post.
The Whopper?
Well, WAPO.
Oh, WAPO. Okay.
WAPO.
The
Washington Post.
You know he does? I was going to say he switched from them big backs.
Oh, my God.
Okay,
No,
well, go ahead.
He's still very loyal. Yeah. And he brought in the USA Today, one saying acquitted, the other one saying Trump acquitted. And this was at the National Prayer Breakfast, something that's bipartisan, by no doubt. I mean, you got everybody sitting there. Apolitical.
So not even bipartisan, apolitical.
All religious leaders from all over the country, and you have a lot of the leaders from our country that are sitting there. And he goes damn ham. I'm like, this guy.
Damn ham?
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Kind of like pish posh. But anyway, let's shout out to my friend Amber Mills.
He goes chitlin. He goes cold chitlin.
He goes
funky cold chitlin.
Man, I'm like,
with the cha-cha.
He laid 3 eggs up in there. I mean, literally, he went in on Adam Schiff. He went in on Lieutenant Colonel Vin. This guy. I mean, the vitriol was poor.
He used the prayer breakfast as a platform
Rick
for
Wilson
vindication.
said everything in his book, everything Trump touches dies. You know, he done killed the whole meaning behind the Presidential Medal of Freedom by giving it to Rush Limbaugh. And now he's pretty much, killed the vibe with the prayer breakfast. It makes the prayer breakfast look like a sham.
Well, and before I get to the prayer breakfast, I want to make sure on this trial piece that we give you the numbers as they are.
Okay.
There were 2 counts against the president. One count of abuse of power. The second count was obstruction of Congress.
Right.
On the first count, the vote to acquit was 52 to 48.
Mm-hmm.
The vote to convict was, what was the vote to acquit? Really?
The vote to convict him
was 52.
or to find him not guilty.
Or to find him not guilty. And so it was 52-48. So 52 all Democrats plus what?
51 Republican.
No.
Voted in the affirmative to convict.
Wait. Yes.
Yes. Finish my point.
No, I want to get it right. Because you're leaving out. There was an independent voter also.
King out of Maine.
Right.
Yeah,
But
he caucuses with the Democrats.
But he's not a Democrat.
Well, that's
so
true now.
Make sure, since we're talking about this from a party perspective, he's not a Democrat.
He caucuses with the Democrats. Angus King out of Maine.
Right.
He caucuses with the Democrats. But I'll say this: there was 52 solid Republicans that said no, he did nothing wrong. 48 Democrats, independents, and 1 Republican that said no, he got it wrong on this one. On the second count of obstruction of Congress, 53 Republicans said he did not violate anything. 47 Democrats and 1 independent said he did. Y'all, are we looking at the same trial, or was I looking at Harvey Weinstein's trial again? This is maddening.
Well, it all depends on how you want to call this, because I look at this and I hear the word acquit being constantly thrown out as the status of what it is. And
That's
if you
what he
want to say
said.
that, technically fine. But word to Democrats, and I mean, I'm saying if someone is not a Democrat, but I'm talking to you all. Get some type of spine about yourselves in terms of who you're dealing with. You've been dealing with Donald Trump for 3 years. You know how he goes. You know what he does.
No, he
you
rolls.
got to have the same type of passion about what you do. This was not clearly an acquittal. Acquittal generally denotes that you're saying that the prosecution has not met its burden of proof, has not proven all the factors of the incident beyond a reasonable doubt. How are you going to be able to say that when Lamar Alexander and Lisa Murkowski have both said that the prosecution did prove their case? They just felt that there were not enough people in the chamber to give him the 67 votes to convict that he needed to be removed. So, and a lot of other senators, Republican senators, have echoed that same philosophy.
And even beyond that, how are you going to acquit somebody with no witnesses, no documentation?
Right.
I mean,
so you really didn't have a full trial.
You have a full trial. I mean, you could do it, but it's not a trial. Yeah.
The real result is that Donald Trump's charges were released by the majority Senate. The majority Senate felt that he should not be removed from office, period. The Republican majority Senate felt that he should not be removed from office, and therefore they found him not guilty. That should be the historical context of it, not this acquittal or anything else, because long after we've left the scene and people are left to piece together the pathology of this thing, they will think that somehow we had a full-scale trial on this, and we didn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I'm not saying, Republican, Democrat, I'm saying in a neutral way, call it, for the sake of history, call it what it was.
Well, can I do that?
Yeah.
Call it what it was.
This is Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. So I'm calling it like I see it.
Call it like you see it.
Call it for what it is.
Call it
for what it is. And one more word to you Democrats. I would not hesitate to preface the president always as the impeached Donald J. Trump.
Impotus?
I mean, that's what he is.
Impeached
That's
impotus.
a stain he will have to wear. Impeached Trump.
Wow.
I would call him impeached Trump. IT. He's the it.
Yeah.
He's it. Here comes the it, y'all. You have got to grow a spine and learn how to talk about these folks and give them the same brand that he's giving each and every one of you, because guess what? It's effective.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're at a point right now where we're not all peace, love, incense, and peppermint.
So you mean you don't believe we should go high when they go low?
I mean, when they go
when
they go low,
Obama?
we tell the truth.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm not saying anything about him that's
Not-
subjective.
yeah.
I'm not telling you
Well,
how I feel about Donald Trump or whatever.
But
I know
you
that
tell
he's
the
been
truth
impeached.
about him that say you're going low.
He's been impeached.
Yeah.
His name is Trump.
Yeah.
IT, he's it.
Lord,
That's it.
let me ask
That's
you,
it.
Let me,
Yeah.
That's it.
Tell you one thing.
There you go.
Is this president now the most powerful president in the history of the office now, because he has beat back this and he has come out? This guy does come out swinging. I'm going to tell you why a lot of people like him. He doesn't give a damn what he says.
Yeah, that's true.
Or what he does.
That's true.
And he just moves on and he tells you to kiss his backside if you don't like it. Basically is what he's saying.
And you know what?
Is this guy the most powerful we've seen?
Yeah, he's the most powerful we've seen now that the Senate has kind of given him a blank check. But guess what? The constituency that he appeals to, the base that he appeals to, is a shrinking number of folk and everything. However, one of the things you say is true. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people out here who see that kind of behavior and bullying as strength. They don't see it as weakness. They see it as strength. They don't even look at it as being unfair. They look at it as somebody, well, he gets things done and he says what he wants to.
He speaks his mind.
He speaks his mind. And the thing about it is those kind of comments just reflect actually what kind of danger we're in, because those are the same things some of the same people said about George W. Bush. Well, I can have a beer with him and he speaks his mind and he says he and he does. And then what happened? We're in Iraq, wasting money. Well, I want to say wasting money now. We kind of stuck there, but we're there when we shouldn't have been there. We had that crash. We're still recovering from the recession that started because of a lot of things that was done under that administration. And you would think we would have learned from the person who speaks them. Quite frankly, I don't understand this thing where folks think that the president has got to be a person like them. I want my president and my leaders to be smarter than me. I want them to be hella smarter than me.
But don't you want a tough talker though, Doc? Don't you want a tough?
I want somebody. No.
I don't want a tough talker because money walks. BS talk.
Yeah.
Runs marathon.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have time for that.
Marathon. Yeah.
I want somebody. I want a tough doer.
But see, you guys are college educated to the
That's
top,
true. Yeah.
and I think what we're not looking at is that the average guy like me and some others who are just sitting here who are just making it. We want somebody who's tough speaking
college
for us.
educated too.
I am. Well,
Yeah.
mine came out of the state school over here. But my point is that we want somebody who doesn't mind sticking up for me. I'm old Joe who always loses, but this guy says he's sticking up for me, and he doesn't mind kicking Putin in the butt, which he probably is not doing. He's probably grabbing his butt.
He's grabbing his butt.
And he's I don't know what he's doing.
Vice versa.
I don't know what he's doing to the chairman over in China. But basically, this guy just speaks to their angst, man.
Mm-hmm.
They are upset that
And
they
it
don't
works,
believe they're getting a fair share. But
Well,
Donald Trump says, I'm going to fire all those people in D.C.
Here's what you have. I'm not going to say that Donald Trump's the most powerful president of the United States and ever been, just because he's able to escape impeachment because he's got a majority
in
party,
this political
majority
moment,
party
in this
Senate.
political
Because
moment,
Bill
maybe
Clinton
he is,
escaped impeachment as well. But I think the philosophy was that people just didn't feel like having sex outside of marriage
And
was
lying
something
about
that
it,
was going to put
lying
you
about
out of
sex,
office. But still, same scenario, same fact, same result. So you didn't call him most powerful. I wouldn't use that same base to call Donald Trump most powerful. I'll say you just have a very forgiving Senate majority, and that's what you have.
And
that's
it's
what
power in this political moment.
But also look at this too. The Republican Party was splintering through all types of factions. You had evangelicals that were starting to have their own faction. Tea Party people having their own faction. A group more conservative than them having their own faction. Then the traditional Republicans.
Yeah, where are they now?
Donald Trump came along not being any of that.
That's right.
And managed to pull all of them together behind the whole issue of cultural inclusion, it seems to be. And now he took those common denominators and has created, at least for a temporary period, something that can save the party. That's what he's doing right now. The same way Barack Obama did it 8 years before, when you had the socialists, so to speak, and the uber liberals and the blue dog Democrats all threatening to splinter their party. So what he's done is he's brought the party together. Democrats are going to have to get the same type of candidate or same type of leader. Otherwise, he's going to look powerful.
Or they're going to need to get a set of cojones. But anyway, we'll be right back with more with more funky politics right here on the Kudzukian Network.
Because we're so funkified. Nothing but the funk.
Riffin' on jazz.
I think I know a lot about jazz. It's
only what you've been doing the last 30-some years.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
A voice that can make you laugh and make you cry.
Good jazz. You don't have to worry about what they're talking about. But when they pick up those instruments, we all speak the same language. And don't you know you went in the kitchen and come back with a big bowl of salads?
Riffin' on jazz on the Kudzukian Network.
Who you with? Yeah. Who you with? Yeah. Who you with? Yeah. Who you with? Yeah. I'm with my clique. I'm with my clique.
We're back with Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network. DC, Tanya Wellesby, and Doc Ward. We want to get right into this thing, y'all.
It's that time again.
What?
Who
you is with?
Who is you with?
Who you is with? Who is you with?
Harper, who is you with?
Harper, who be this woman? Who is you with?
All my life I had to fight.
I'll kill him. No, anyway, here we go. Let me tell you this. One thing I have found out in life is that just because you start with somebody, that don't mean you go in with the person. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
In the Democratic primary, Republican primary, you had two guys that jumped out of Republican primary. You had George Weld out there, and you had the other gentleman. God, what is
Sanford.
his name? Not
Mark Sanford.
No, well, Mark did. He did jump out for a quick minute, right?
Yeah.
But there was another young man out there, Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
Joe Walsh jumped out there, and they thought, well, maybe I can be that alternative to Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Didn't watch.
They were alternatives.
They were alternatives.
It's just that nobody was looking for an alternative.
Well, number one, you had all these states that colluded really and said that we're not going to have a Republican primary.
Right.
We're going to forward the name on for our state delegates on to DC, right? And so,
but also you had
Donald
Trump basically co-opt the Republican Party or vice versa.
Exactly.
So now the Republican Party is the Trump Party.
Party of Trump.
And that's that. So anybody that's going to run, you run. How you going to run
That's
against
who you
Trump?
with.
How you going to run against Trump in the Trump Party?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That's who you with.
And
So if you're Republican, that's who you with. That's why who you with is we so short on that when we talk about Republicans, because you can't be with nobody else.
You is with
He
Mr.
is the
Trump.
who this man? Harpo, who this Trump?
His name Trump.
Y'all some master Trump.
See, his name Trump. I married him over that. No, anyway, here. So let's go right ahead and let's dissect this new Democratic. Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
That's what Donald Trump said. Tim Scott said to him about the purpose.
Sir.
He said he was the first one that came to me. He said, "Sir."
Oh my God! How dare you disparage that fine
once again,
man
I do
from the
not
fine state of South
talk
Carolina.
about candidates. I tell
How dare you?
the truth.
Tim Scott's a
The
upstanding-
mother funky truth.
Oh mercy!
That's what I do.
I thought you cussed. Anyway,
No, I just tell the truth.
you know I'm grabbing my pearls over here again. But anyway,
You got pearls?
So getting back to this,
Like, know who you with.
getting back to this thing, these Democratic candidates. So Andrew Yang has rolled back and gotten rid of some staff in Nevada as of late. So he has decided what I need to do is I'm going to concentrate and put everything I got into New Hampshire, right? I think if he doesn't do it in New Hampshire, it's a done deal, right? Klobuchar, same thing, done deal. I would think that Elizabeth can make it to South Carolina. I think she's got enough cash on hand to make it to South Carolina. It's going to be tough. She's going to kind of roll back a whole lot of the places around the country. But I think the top four, I think you'll still see Pete Buttigieg, you'll see Mayor Pete, you'll see Bernie Sanders, you'll see Joe Biden, and you'll see Elizabeth Warren. I think until South
But
Carolina.
let's make this clear,
Everybody
though.
in South Carolina.
Let me make this clear for all you Biden folks. You've got to get South Carolina, too, because Joe Biden has been doing campaign deficit spending for months now. No one's really talked about it because they felt like at some point in time he was going to get that major donor. But, he lost donors after the Kamala Harris thing. And so he didn't really get that bump. So he's been doing a lot of deficit spending. So he's got to get a real rise out of South Carolina and really some out of Nevada, New Hampshire, and interim in order for him to
the
be
wild
able to
card
make
here is Bloomberg.
That's what I wanted you to chime in.
Bloomberg is the wild card. He's been running commercials.
Is it because of his money? It's because of his dang money, y'all.
It's money. And unfortunately, I'd say unfortunately, and I see both sides of this. You have some Democrats, particularly progressives, who turned off by that because they see it as a billionaire doing a vanity project and it's not fair because he has more money than other candidates. But on the other hand, we know that's how our system works now until we change it and everything. And then the other side of that equation is that, the people who fussing about him being able to buy his way into the debates. Okay, that seems to be a little unfair. But
he's not in debates, remember, because he doesn't. He's not raising money. He's spending his own money.
But there's something where the Democrats are saying they may let him get in on the debates and stuff. And some folks are upset about that. But here's the thing: right now, he's running commercials. Saying what he's doing, you don't get a chance to challenge him on his positions. If he was on the debate stage, you could see him up against the other candidates and see what he got and find out really who you with, who you might be with.
This guy's actually running against Donald Trump, y'all.
Yeah, he's just running.
He's the only candidate running against Donald Trump, and says that he will support the Democratic nominee if it's not him.
But is that not a bad? That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
No, I think no. If you have a primary system, if you have a primary, there's no reason why he and Tom Steyer should not be a part of that primary system. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Does he have support?
Unless he's running as an independent. He's not running as an independent.
Does he have Democratic support?
I saw one poll with Bloomberg at 10% now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And as other candidates drop out of the race and people are looking at the candidates that are there right now, they're going to support him because here's the thing: Democrats have got to think about this in the way of reality. And this is Funky Politics, powered by Kudzukian Network. Donald Trump did not win the election by getting the popular vote, people.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump won the election by strategically winning the electoral college.
Yes, sir.
He had, at the end of the day, 47% of the vote. So when you look at these polls that say Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump 53-48, okay, that's great. But if we put that up and make that election savvy, he's still going to lose Because if Donald Trump is getting 48% of the vote, he's winning the Electoral College. They have the strategy already on lock. So don't look at that as a situation. You got to get Donald Trump down in the 40%.
Yeah.
Well, I know. On the flip side of that, Doc, I think if you take a Joe Biden to a Wisconsin, you take him to an Iowa, you take him to an Indiana, you take him to Illinois, you take him to Pennsylvania, I think he does well there. I think he does extremely well there. Does he win a Texas over Donald Trump? No, he doesn't. But he does win, I think, a lot of those Midwestern states that are delegate rich, extremely delegate rich.
Too.
And I think he does. But now does Mike Bloomberg do the same thing? Does a person who works in a factory in Madison, Wisconsin, or in Green Bay or in Eau Claire, do they say, look, that guy's like me, but they do say Joe Biden's like me?
But here's the thing. But last election, they said that guy Donald Trump is like me, and they voted for him, and that's how he won.
Because the alternative to that was Hillary Clinton, and they knew that she wasn't like him.
So then, if you get two billionaires together, one of them's a billionaire for real, and one of them's a billionaire on paper, and this one says I had a larger corporation and more success than this guy has. Plus, I don't have all the baggage. Then confronted with that decision, it's going to be a situation.
I think you got a quandary.
And Democrats are going to have to play that nasty game in order to be able to be successful.
I think Mike Bloomberg has got a spine. I think he's got a spine.
He's got a whole. I think he's got a whole skeleton.
Yeah, he's got money that would probably be able to speak well for him.
I think he has the money. I think he has the spine. I think he knows how to take on Donald Trump because of the because he knows him and everything, and I think he can go head to head with him. Because he certainly won't be doing that going low, going high stuff and everything.
Look, let's throw that stuff in the garbage.
Yeah. And he's willing to make the message and say the messages that right now Democrats seem to be so anemic and afraid to make. Like, for example, everyone keeps talking about if Donald Trump pushes the economy, he's going to win.
No.
The only person that's even said anything similar to what needs to be said about that, which is this: the economy started with Barack Obama.
Sure.
Barack Obama set the stage for the economy. The increases that we've had in jobs and the decrease of unemployment and the increase in GDP have occurred starting Barack Obama, and we have been on a consecutive progress, even though wages aren't where they need to be.
Yeah.
But the other thing, and I'll say this now, shut up.
No. Okay.
The tax cut that Donald Trump did was a tax cut that was proposed by Barack Obama that the GOP denied him of and did not allow him to implement. So therefore, all they did was take Barack Obama's tax cut, kick the cover off of it, take the picture of Barack and Michelle off of it, put on a picture of Donald Trump and Melania and Don Jr. and Ivanka, and called it their tax cut. They are basically continuing Obamaism. That's why they talk about it so bad.
Hold on, they raised some of the income rates down.
That's it.
Now Obama's cut was going to be a true middle class cut.
Right.
It wasn't good. And see, we talk about middle class.
But the amount and the deficit
the
results were still going to be the same. The results were still going to be the same. He just put that bar with a higher class of people. So basically, all the Republicans are doing is more Obamonomics.
They're cribbing off.
Wow.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Obama. And someone in the Democratic Party needs to say that. They need to stop standing off of it.
Yeah, and when they start with the economy, they need to go right there. So, we'll give Trump some credit, for not messing stuff up.
For not messing up our economy that we put in place.
But actually, the growth, the economic growth was higher under Obama.
Absolutely.
It's still growing, but it's at a much lower level, and inflation is up. Anytime they come at them with that about the economy and stuff, come back at them with the truth.
But Bloomberg is doing that, and the other candidates are coming up with stuff like Medicare for all, and I'm gonna tax just the highest level of billionaires, and then when they find a way to do the loophole, middle class and lower and small business owners will still have to bear the brunt of it. But I'm not going to tell you that yet.
Well, let me ask you this quick question, both of you guys, and I want to just throw this out there. Donald Trump thought that the Ukraine investigation, if there was ever going to be one, or what he tried to do with this thing that got him to impeachment was going to hurt Joe Biden. Did it hurt Joe?
Yes, absolutely.
Think you did?
He didn't even have to use the Ukraine.
Wow.
All he had to do was just bring it up. And the way that it's existing right now, it's still causing the question, because even if you like Joe Biden, and even if there was never an investigation about Hunter and this whole issue, the whole thing still stinks to high hell.
But you know, the
It still
kid,
stinks to high
you know,
hell.
his son is a Yale trained lawyer now. So
okay.
it's not like this guy's not he's stupid or anything.
But
this guy he was in business now, so he's not dumb.
Yeah.
But now I will say this. But you got a good point now.
But that hasn't been fleshed out.
Ukraine, of all countries, and at the same time,
but once again, Democrats fail because they don't flesh this stuff out. They don't know how to message.
When they start talking about
Hunter
Hunter Biden and Ukraine and nepotism, just go right to Ivanka and Jared, who's sitting up here in the White House. Yeah, in that check. Yeah, sitting in the White House, can't get security clearances.
But they're also not getting paid either, though. Y'all know that, right? They're not
Doesn't
getting
matter,
paid.
but they're getting paid.
They're not getting paid, but they're branding.
But
their
branding
businesses,
themselves and their businesses making. No, they ain't. It's just it's
don't
like
need to get paid.
Yeah,
you don't need that little check.
They don't need no. I mean, she got all
money.
these trademarks in China and stuff like that. Now she's making money that way. Now she don't need to get like a salary.
And I'm getting to go to the what's the technology
position?
conference and all those things.
Yeah.
I'm getting to go in all those places.
Yeah.
You know, as part of the government representing the United States on my dime.
Yeah.
So why does she need to get a check with what does the president make? $4,000, please.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. You know what? I tell you what, we've had one heck of a show, y'all. This Funky Politics is just getting funkier by the day. Y'all have got to stay with this program. You got to check us out. Yeah. You got to check us out. You know, make sure you go and you download that Kudzukian app, man, because this thing here is just so funky. We got so many shows out there.
Yeah.
It's just funky out. It's so funky up in here and got hot.
And I understand. And I understand to ensure the funk, you're staying in the studio every day, not showering or shaving or anything.
So it's really funky.
Oh,
gosh, hey, look, we'll be right back with some closing thoughts.
Yes.
Right here on Funky Politics, powered by the Kudzukian Network.
I ain't scared of you, mother.
Funky Politics is powered by the Kudzukian Network, and we are powered by intellect, introspect, and a little bit of self-respect as we break down all of these topics of our day so that you can break them down in your own mind by night. And when you wake up in the morning and you get ready to go about your day, you know that it's going to be a funky day because you are fully prepared and equipped to take on any challenge that you may have, especially those that involve the world that we live in and the things that we are around. It's been an awesome day today. Three I's, Iowa.
Incumbency.
And impeachment. What a week for the GOP.
The ayes have it.
The ayes have it. They have it right now.
Yeah, they got it right now.
They have it right now.
They got the wind at their back.
Yeah.
I don't care what. They have the wind at their back. Even our good friend Nancy Pelosi, who is a Speaker of the House, and she took a stand though.
She took a stand,
a hell of a
and
stand.
we were just talking about them having.
She was ripping up the speech.
Man, she took a hell of a stand.
Yeah.
She used the same damn thing you were talking about a minute. Backbone.
Right.
Yeah.
She said, "The hell with it."
The hell with that. Going
hey, man,
high and
everything you just said is just some straight up bull
hockey
stuff.
But think about it. She had the fortitude. She had the cojones to say, you lied to the American people. You've done it once. You did it in my house.
This is some straight hot garbage.
Yeah, you did it in my house.
Straight hot garbage. And you know what? He acted. Here's the thing that's so interesting about the people who like to criticize folks when they stand up and they do that, like Nancy Pelosi. They remove the context of things and think everybody's stupid. You got to remember, when Trump came in there, she extended her hand. He ignored her. He didn't shake her hand.
They said, "Oh, he didn't see it.
He didn't see it."
But now, let me say this though.
Yeah.
Everyone else has said something when they're announcing the president. Every speaker's always said, "It is my distinct honor and privilege to present the president," or something to that effect. She just said, "Here you come, y'all," basically something like that. I mean, she didn't give him any kind of distinction. The president of the United States, gone. And so now, but all of this is good entertainment. But here's the issue I have with it. We talked about a little bit today about kids in cages. We got kids in cages. We got kids outside of cages. That are running around here that are getting killed every day.
Yes.
We got kids in cages that are dying every day. We got adults that are making $3 when the price of bread alone is $5. We've got and even though the economy seems to be booming, it's not booming for the least of these thy brethren.
Oh, no,
it's not.
No.
Now, Jesus said the poor will always be with you, but they didn't say that they had to be living so far below the poverty line that they couldn't survive.
Absolutely.
And also it didn't say that those that are in poverty have to remain in poverty. Poverty is cyclical. But how can you, as Barack Obama said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
Not wearing any shoes.
If you have no boots nor straps.
Yep.
So when all of the pettiness ends, we are going to have to find a way to make this country palatable and good and comfortable for all of us, at least have the opportunities. I used to hate when George W. would say, I don't want to say equal opportunity, I want to say equal access. But now I'm down to the point where I'm even saying equal access because we don't even have that. So we've got to find a way, because all of those things are getting lost in the shuffle of the pettiness of our politicians.
Something I think we also fail to talk about a lot, and something we've hit it on this show a lot of times, is that sometimes we get drug into this argument about trying to help save and uplift the middle class.
Yeah.
But we make it about class. And so we know the upper class is good and they're going to be taken care of. But we got to make sure the middle class, it's always a middle class tax cut. But you forget that there are people that are actually out there earning the lowest wages in America, especially in the South. Mm-hmm. Especially in the South. Well, but we keep talking about these middle class tax cuts. These middle classes, the American people. Who the hell are the American people, y'all? You mean the residents of this country?
They're all of us, and we've got.
That's what you're talking about.
And I'm gonna say something else, and I'm trying to go out on this, and you all can talk about it any way you want to, but very quickly. The one symbolic thing that Mitt Romney did, and you can talk history about whether that be kind, unkind to him or Lamar Alexander, whatever. But the one thing that he did by speaking truth to power was that he put a crack. In that wall of, racial injustice and exclusion. Because if that's ever going to end, and we're going to have cultural equality, it ain't going to come from black folks or brown folks doing something. It's going to come from Caucasian, white folks, y'all doing something. Because we did not create the divide. Mm-hmm. We are a product of the divide.
And that's what happened during segregation.
Yeah. And so it's going to take those who created it. And that's just the truth. Once again, I don't get subjective. I love everybody, but I'm going to tell you the truth. We are here as the product of slavery. So there's no way that we could ever been at the table to be able to create the hate. We are the products of it. So what he did was put a crack in it today. And hopefully we can keep moving that.
But you know who deserves some credit, too, for some of that? Is Doug
Jones.
Doug Jones.
Out of Alabama.
I think he's an unsung hero in this because even though he's a Democrat, I mean, look at where he's from. Yeah. I mean, look at how
solid
he runs solid red blood red. So you gotta spare some.
Bama.
Yeah, you got to spare some for him because he barely won that Senate seat.
He knows what that vote means.
So he's probably figuring, hey, I might as well do the right thing. But there's some who be just such a coward, like Rob Portman up in Ohio. Mm-hmm. What does he have to lose? He's not up until re-election.
What the hell does Lamar Alexander have to lose? Call it like it is. Yeah, Lamar's always been known as a statesman in this country, and he went out like a sucker.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it what it is.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that because even though he cast a vote, he did say that the prosecution had proved his case. So that's why you can't say acquit. But that's a whole nother show for a whole nother day. And right now,
I'm sorry,
we have no more to say.
Lamar, I didn't mean to say that.
We have no more to say. It's time for us to get off our heels, get on our wheels. And as always, in everything you do, we absolutely demand that you keep it real,
keep it right,
and keep it funky.
And we'll see you next time on Funky Politics.
Funky Politics, recorded at Kudzukian Studios, directed, produced, and distributed by Kudzukian.